What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Apex, the podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, our dear boy Jumbo is getting ready to go to EWC. It's right around the corner.
22 hours of flying.
22 hours of flying. Are you prepared? Are you ready?
Light work for you. Are you raw dogging it?
No.
Do the raw dog. Do the raw dog.
Dude, have some
Bro,
balls.
come on. Raw dog it, dude.
On the way back. On the way back. Listen.
Baby back little bit.
On the way back, I'll do it. On the way back, I'll do it. Let me tell you why.
Dude, raw dog for 22 hours would be some.
So
no, but see, like, it's not
crazy
22 hours
work.
because the first flight, my first flight's like 8 or 9. Then I have a 5-hour layover. Then I got like another 8-hour flight. It's like that. Whereas on the way
Taking a
back,
nap during that layover?
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I land at like 7 a.m. and then my flight's at like 1. I'm afraid if I nap, I'm not getting on that next flight. So we'll have to see. Hopefully I sleep overnight on the plane. Which actually I don't even know if it's technically overnight for me because it will be. Because I don't know, the time differences are all confusing me because I'm landing in Germany first. And so anyways, on the way back, however, I go from Saudi to Dubai, 2 hours, and then Dubai straight to Canada, 14 hours. I'll just stare at the screen for that one. Just the
There we
map.
go. Okay, I like that. Well, maybe you warm yourself up with the raw dogging on like the 8-hour flight just to see if you've got that dog, then on the way back you can be like, all right, now I'm true. This is the true test.
I promise you, I don't. The real strategy is I'm going to bring my laptop. I'm going to be working, maybe editing some thumbnails, some stuff on there. I'm going to be buying some games on my Switch. And then I'm going to be downloading the entire second half of One Piece and just watching that the entire time.
Okay. All right. I respect it. Well, for people who don't know what's going on, Esports World Cup, how can you not know what's going on? But it's Esports World Cup. Apex Legends is officially in there, and our man Jumba has the full breakdown on how everything is going to work out because it is not a typical LAN setup that we see in ALGS. So Jumba, if you want to take the floor and go ahead and kind of describe how this thing will all play out, you can go ahead and hit that right now.
Okay, let's go through this. So there's going to be 40 teams. They had 8 teams qualify from I'm not sure specifically the numbers, but they had them they picked their top 8 from Pro League, from Split 1. That's who got in. And then after they did qualifiers, you guys should have seen all those, and like an extra 2 teams from each region. And some regions, I think it was like 1. It depends. Like South America, for example, didn't get as many slots. Got it. Anyways, just to say, 40 teams are going to be there. And this is the first LAN that we're going to have that's going to be a different format, at least since like the modern era of LAN came back in year 2. I guess we had a different format back at the preseason invitational or X Games, but that's like 5 years ago at this point. So the way it's going to work, the first day or 2 days are going to be, it's group stages, 20 teams in each lobby. Then after the top 9 teams in those lobbies automatically qualify to finals, right? The teams from 10th place to 19th place, so those 9 teams go into a loser's bracket, or technically a last chance bracket is what it's called, right? And then the 20th place teams in both those lobbies are like eliminated. So on day 1, we got 2 teams going home. They flew all that distance there for just one and done day, something that we've never seen in Apex. Like if you went to any LAN, you had at the very least 2 days of playing Apex like for yourself there. Actually, I guess 3 days because you always get into loser's bracket, right? So yeah, so that happens. Also too, in group stages, this is where we're going to see, everyone's been talking about the new map be introduced. So group stages are actually going to be 10 games. That's also something we haven't seen. The most we saw is usually at champs. They do the winners bracket and the losers brackets are 8 games. Yeah, we're seeing 10 here. And so the way it's going to work is roughly it's going to be like 2 games on Storm Point, then 2 games on World's Edge, then 2 games are a viewer's choice, then 2 games World's Edge, and then 2 games on Storm Point. So we have the ability that the viewers get to vote in either Broken Moon, Kings Canyon, or Olympus. I know we've talked about a bunch, but we're hoping to see Broken Moon. Did you guys want to throw anything about that while we're here at this point?
Yeah, I think the idea of having like a crowd choice is electric, and I think it's going to be super exciting and fun. And the fact that it's going to be KC, a map that we haven't seen in competitive in a while, Olympus we haven't seen in competitive and hardly ever, and then a new Storm Point. I think pretty much everyone is leaning towards that we're thinking it's going to end up being Broken Moon, which I think is going to be a fun map to see how it plays. But man, there are some spots in that map that if they don't fix or if they don't GA, it's just a foul. And I say that as somebody who abuses those spots regularly.
Yeah,
heinous.
I think Broken Moon will be the one that's picked. I did kind of want to go and see Kings Canyon. I'm just curious to see how this version of Kings Canyon would play, but I doubt anybody's going to vote for that. I was watching back on some X Games like POVs and stuff on YouTube, and it was so interesting to see Kings Canyon be that map like all that time ago. So it would be interesting to see KC in there, but I do think Broken Moon's going to be the one, and it would be interesting because if Falcons is getting the entire quarantine zone, it's just going to be so funny that a team is basically scaring off every other team from an entire gigantic middle portion of the map, which I think is what's going to happen. So part of me wants to see Broken Moon just for that purpose, like watching Falcons walk in a gigantic circle middle map, because nobody's going to contest that. If they do contest that, you could be on the flight home, like Jumpa said, literally day one. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, like that will probably lock them in at first place because the loot is crazy, the rotations are crazy. I can't imagine, like, we'll see in the interview that we have later. I say, like, I can't believe that teams aren't going to contest, but I do see at the same point, you don't want to go home, and it is in that group stage that it probably won't happen. So I see where you're all coming from. So yeah, so just again I'll just quick reiterate. So yeah, 18 teams. So the top 9 from both those groups are going straight to finals. 10 teams from each of those groups are going to be going into a last chance. 2 teams going home in the last chance. So now you have 20 teams. Again, 10 games. They will also be doing a viewer pick for those games. So we're going to get to see 3 groups where we're going to have the new map in there. I don't know if it's a vote per group or if it's a vote. Like, I couldn't find this, or if it's a vote like overall. Because it would almost be interesting if we got like Broken, like there's a world where we could see Broken Moon, Olympus, and Kings Canyon all be played. I think realistically, in my mind, it should be just one so that it keeps it consistent. It would be kind of crazy if like the Falcons group got to be able to play with that quarantine zone, whereas in Kings Canyon, there really isn't a fucking POI that matches like a quarantine zone, for example, right? So, and then Olympus is just, in my opinion, terrible for comp in general. So I wouldn't want to go through the experience of having to play that. But yeah, and then in the last chance, only 2 teams advance to finals. The other 18 go home. So that last chance is going to be very difficult. Anything could happen, but 10 games is a lot of games too to play. Something that we know like these players aren't even really that used to, right? We even don't see, especially on LAN, we haven't seen a match point final go 10 games. The longest was 9 in year 2 champs. Again, not including Poland, which went like 11 or 12 games or something like that. That was, again, 5 years ago. So then after in finals, we do have match point final. 60 points, though, not 50 points. So it's 60-point threshold. Then win a game, you win it all. So with that 10 extra points, typically we do see match point final average out around 7-8 games, like 7 to 9 every single LAN has ended in. With 60 points in there, now we probably might push that one more game. Maybe we see 8 to 10. So again, all these lobbies are going to be going a lot longer than we're used to. I'm happy for that. It mixes it up. It does feel like I as much as I love ALGS, I have felt like for some time being that the lobbies, or that the format has been the same for so long, that we kind of always know who's going to be in finals and how finals are going to fold. I think I called 18
Falcons is winning.
Yeah, there's that for sure. No matter what the format is, but
shocker pick.
Or as PvP said, or sorry, JMO said, guaranteed second. Guaranteed second.
Yeah, he hit him with the guaranteed second. I will say this, dude. I love the fact that I remember earlier that I think it was either your first episode or maybe your second. We were talking about how I wish there was just more competitions in Apex, where it was like, we've got the ALGS, but then there's also other side competitions. Like in soccer, what they do is they'll have like your league cup, so whatever league you're in, but then they have like the Champions League, which is all the best teams from all the leagues. They also have like a few more domestic trophies you can get, like every team from this specific nation all go together, all that kind of stuff. I'm super happy that we have an ulterior competition outside of just ALGS because one, it adds to the sport. It makes it possible for people to win more money, and it gives you something to watch. And for those players, it gives them something to look forward to and try to win some more money and sustain a longer career. I just love it. I've always said I thought we should probably get a third LAN, like if we had the 3 LANs and then champs at the end of the year. I don't know how that would work logistically. I've always felt like that would be cool, but this makes me feel a lot better because you kind of are getting that third LAN. It's just played in a different way. And so I'm really excited. I'm very happy for it. And, the format is a little odd. It's a little weird. It's tough to see 2 teams go day one when you just traveled that far. I hope that they get to at least stay till the end of the competition so they can at least travel, walk around,
They will.
Yeah. Okay, good. So yeah, that's good. I just, I'm happy we're having this, and we'll see how this format goes from here. And maybe this could open up some ideas for ALGS in the future.
Yeah, it's definitely really cool. The interesting thing is, I don't remember if I said this back then, but like Apex was supposed to have like 12 LANs per year before COVID. Like the plan was to, I don't think there was ever like a thing for online tournaments at all, or like online league play. It was going to be where everything was played at LAN, very similar to. I mean, I don't follow Valorant and VCT too much, but it feels like every time I'm on Twitter, they just had like a LAN like the last like 5 weekends. And it's because it seems like that's how like their kind of league play goes. So yeah, really we lost out on that. I actually think it's kind of a good thing. I don't know, maybe I just really like the system now, but it makes it feel like LAN is such a like a cataclysmic event. Like everyone is like so hyped every time a LAN comes around because there is only 3 a year. But I do agree, like if there's a way to have more third-party LANs, give the pro players more opportunity, give us more content to watch. Like, yeah, I would love that, especially because not only just more money, but like I don't know, just like lands the best. So like, yeah, I guess like just the excitement of it every single time. And what I was actually going to say a point that it kind of like slipped my mind there. So once it comes back to me, I'll try to mention it. But
there we go. So that
keep
was
going here. No, there's still some more. I want to throw out some
Okay.
interesting things. If this is right, in finals on match point, they're alternating Storm Point and World's Edge every game. So typically it's 2 games at our typical LANs. They're alternating every single game. That's what I saw, like shout out Tempo when I was looking on Reddit and trying to find all the details, and in a stream he did like 2 months ago, that's what I think he had on there. So that should be really interesting to see. The reason I mentioned that is I think that's going to cause the lobby to crash. Like every time they have to switch the map, like we're definitely getting delays here. So expect that. And then the other thing is like, yeah, so it's a $2 million prize pool, very similar to what Champs is. Like Champs last year was $2 million. Champs this year should be $2 million. However, at Apex Lands now, like in year 2, they did this, but Apex Lands now, only top 20 teams get paid out. At EWC, they are paying out all 40 teams. And so the first place prize is still the same. They're going to get $600,000. TSM last champs got $600,000. Funny enough, second place makes more money than they did at champs last year at year 3. But then every other placement like makes less money because they have to divvy it up amongst the last top 20 teams. So, I mean, I don't think anyone's complaining about more money being thrown around, but I just thought that was kind of cool to throw out there if anyone was interested how the prize pool breakdown is also going to be.
There we go. EWC, that is the full breakdown. As far as every other bit of news in ALGS so far, I guess the one big one here is the fact that they finally did something about the fuse exploit with the balloons. But then it was very quickly found out that there is a lifeline exploit, and also
people work fast, brother.
They work real fast on demon time. They're on demon time. The lifeline one I've heard actually is somehow worse. Like it like the ring goes further. Am I wrong? Am I correct?
JXMO told us that like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, hit me with that one. Yeah. So it goes further. It's actually somehow worse. The only thing is, it is a little bit tougher to hit, according to him as well. So we'll see if this gets used in competitive. I know that Furia has been using the lifeline, and some other teams have been using it as well. We'll see if they try to use the exploit this way. But yeah, so they finally fixed the exploit with the balloons. We'll see what happens moving forward.
My thing
You
with
guys have
that
anything
is
to
like
add?
it's just like not still. It's like even though you can do it with the lifeline, you have to use a lifeline, and you have to have a lifeline ult, which doesn't come that often, right? So now the thing is like, are you saving your lifeline ults for when you need them, or for when you like want to go combo in a fight, right? Because now you also run the risk you're using the ult to hit your evac or your evac to your fuse ult, but then after it's like, what if you don't win that fight? What if the loot from that care package would have helped you in that fight? So I don't know.
If you lose a fight with wall hacks, you're
Listen, it can
I would
happen.
lose.
I don't think it can happen.
I've had that happen before. I have lost a fight with the evac. It was a tough scene.
There you go.
But like you should win that fight like 99% of the time. And I would say like very rarely. I mean, I would say probably like more often in comp. But I would say you shouldn't need the heals from a lifeline package for like a fight that you're setting up.
So, but then after, especially because of the way that in my
Obviously,
my
like
eyes,
if you're like down bad, like yeah.
no,
but-
I agree. I'm just thinking like the way that in my eyes, like why Lifeline's so valuable for comp sometimes, like with them playing around edge and trying to hit all the caches, is that she can just absolutely juice you on loot. But then if you're using the, I don't know, like if I just find like you're like always holding on your ult just for a fight. I guess everyone else's ult is just for a fight. I don't know. It's just like, can you slot someone in other than Lifeline that can do a better job for like more things? Like how valuable? I guess the wall hacks are pretty valuable, but it's only really I only imagine you're gonna get that at one, at most two fights in a game to use it. So it's like, how valuable is that?
We'll have to see.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Vantage goes crazy. Vantage, the fuse Vantage little bird thing.
So yeah, what happens there? You shoot
Hard.
off the bat.
Yeah, I think you just shoot it off the bat.
You think it was
You just put the bat high up in the air above the people you're trying to fight,
That's
and
wild.
then you shoot the ult.
That should
and
not be
then
in
it's
it.
just that shit. I mean, I think it is so funny how like the devs were like on business. No, we don't care. It is how it is. Adapt, get good. And then a week before most money land ever, they're like, okay, guys, we fixed it. And it took people less than like 20 minutes before they're like, oh yeah, you can still do it with this character, this character, this character, this character. And then if you play this character and you combine them with that character and then you do this and that at the same time, then you can do this. And it's just 80 million different ways to still do it, just pop up. It's you got to respect people's just determination to like break the game.
They went into everything. I heard you can't do it with Mobies. I heard that. I'm assuming if they know they could do it with Vantage, that you can't do it with Crypto. I haven't I feel like we would have heard that you could have done it with the drone.
Yeah, I feel like you can't do it with Crypto because we definitely would have found out that you can
Right?
do it.
And
Yeah.
Crypto, like people would have immediately used Crypto and said Crypto would have been better to do it with than versus Vantage, right? Because like you could just fly the
For
drone exactly
sure.
where you want. So, yeah,
No doubt.
Interesting
impressive stuff by the Apex scene.
Impressive stuff by the Apex. It's always impressive what they can do with just a little bit of time and literally one change that they've already figured out how to get around. So shout out you guys. Shout out you guys in the community. All right. Well, ladies and gents, that should just about do it for all the news that we got going on right now. We're getting ready for EWC. Jumbo's about to head on down there. And then as far as the podcast goes, for the next couple weeks, it'll probably be sporadic and a little bit random, but we're going to be covering it because I got to figure out what exactly I'm going to do. I think for sure we're still going to have an episode next Thursday with me and Enoch. And then after that, if I'm trying to decide if I want to do something after the group stages with maybe like Donnie or something, and maybe even Connor. and see if I kind of just want to get like quick little episodes out after the day's over. I got to figure it out. I don't know exactly what we're going to do yet, but we're going to give a lot of shine to EWC, because once again, this is a very big LAN, and it's super cool that Apex is a part of it. So we will keep you updated probably through social media. Keep your eyes peeled. Ladies and gents, we're going to throw it on down to JMO. Second time on the show. Last time he was on, he was coaching for Dark Zero. Now with Furia, and he's got a lot to say. I will say this right now. He is a theory crafter at heart, and we spent a good chunk of this interview crafting and coming up with ideas to fix Apex before we even got into the coaching thing. So, strap in your seatbelts. It might take a second, but it is an awesome time with JMO. We love having him on. He is great, as always. Ladies and gents, let's hit a quick ad and send it on down to JMO. All right, ladies and gents, we welcome on a very special guest for the second time on the show, JMO, coach of Furia, here with us now. JMO, it's been a while since we had you on. Actually, it's been so long. The last time we invited you on, your name was PvPX.
I think I was on a different team too.
Yeah, you're on a different team as well.
I'm a whole new person.
It's been a long time, man. How have you been?
I've been doing good. Apex is still treating me right. I'm still having fun. I love what I do. And I also like joining these podcasts, so I appreciate the invite back.
No, dude, I was listening back to the last one we had, and I came across something that was super interesting. And it was, we had talked about how you are kind of like the guy on Twitter who will just kind of tweet out ideas all the time that can make the game overall better. And one of the ideas you pitched before it ever came out was, you said, I think we should all drop in. We all have 150 health, and the amount of damage, the amount of times you shoot or whatever things that go on in the game, you get your shield up as time goes on. And it was like, so it was so far ahead of its time, but you were the one who called it. And so, yeah, I just wanted to bring that back. Are there any ideas right now that you think need to be implemented? I think that's a good place to start.
You might have saw something I tweeted today. I've been complaining about a lot lately.
I bookmarked it immediately.
So
yeah,
I think that in ranked specifically, maybe pubs, whatever, but ranked specifically, they need to get rid of the dropship. I think a big reason for that is through the success that has been shown in Pro League from the draft system of them getting rid of the dropship. I think in ranked it would help a lot, because right now everyone just lands in contests. You land, you hit a UAV, and you're like, why are there 12 teams at trials right now? Like, and then there's like 8 squads alive ring 1. It's just sloppy. I think the game would be a lot more fun and competitive in ranked, and it would flow faster. The games would start quicker because you don't have to wait for the ship to go across. It would just feel a lot better if they just got rid of the dropship and everyone just random spawned at different POIs. And it would also showcase, I think, a bit more flexibility and skill among people. Because, one game they might start Trials, that's the best POI on World's Edge, and one game they might start Geyser. So they got to just make it happen, just make it work.
I have been, since the POI draft, I have been saying this, I think, every week. Like, if you talk to me behind scenes, ever asked me my opinion about the POI draft, I'm like, yeah, now put it in ranked. Like, since the day that, like, they announced it. So I agree. It's, like, my favorite take I've ever heard of yours, actually. Like, I think, like, for real.
Sometimes they stick to the wall, sometimes they don't.
It's also interesting too, because when we talk about ranked, obviously for so long ranked has been what separates Apex Legends from a lot of the other BRs, like that ability to have a ranked mode, and you can grind for stuff. But I think we're going into season 22, 23, right? And it's kind of been the same thing. Like, they've changed the system here and there, right? But they haven't really changed the way it's been played. And I think you're going to need a shakeup pretty soon so that players feel a little bit more engaged with the mode. Because take for instance, me and my friends, we drop the same maybe 2-3 POIs on every single map. And after a while, it can get monotonous. Like, yes, we love those POIs, but I think if we were to just able to just drop into a random one, it would kind of change up the way we look at it. It would change up the way we think. And I think overall, it would just make a much better player base in ranked and just overall in the game of Apex Legends.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think also it kind of puts people into the stepping stone of getting into competitive, because in Challenger Circuit finals lobbies, they do a draft system, I believe, unless I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they do that for like LCQ finals, stuff like that. And then all of Pro League, they do a draft system. So I don't know, it'd be cool to kind of get something similar. And it's not logistical or practical to do the actual draft for ranked, or do like the actual draft for like the early stages of CC, because there's just way too many teams and it takes too much time and all that stuff. But I don't know, I think random drop would be a really fun time, and I think that we've hit that point in time in BRs where the dropship is kind of just outdated. I mean, it was cool. It was a core thing of BR, but when it really comes down to it, it doesn't need to be a thing. Like it was just a cool thing that they just had at the beginning of the game.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Coming from someone who's competed and then been a coach for so long since the beginning of Apex, how important do you see like ranked as like a stepping stone to getting into being in Pro League and everything? And then like with that, being that like ranked should be as close as possible to the ALGS format and like play style that they have. Like how important do you see that is? Like do you feel like there's been a lot of ranked grinders who've like made that stepping stone and so on?
Yeah, I think ranked is arguably more important than CC. I think that the best
I'd
thing.
agree with that take. 100%.
Yeah, so the way that most teams work is you have an IGL and then you have two like fragging players. If you want to join a team and make it into the pro scene, especially if you want to just skip straight into Pro League, just go for rank 1. Like, don't even do CC scrims. You're going to waste your time. It's not going to grow your stream. It's going to take up way too much time because you can do 6 games in like 4 hours. Just go for rank 1, grind rank, get as mechanically gifted as you can as possible, and then spend your extra time just watching VODs. Because when you're watching VODs from competitive, you have the luxury of skipping all the downtime. You just skip. You can watch 20 games in a day in like, 2 hours? So if you're really passionate, that's the recipe for success. Just grind ranked, get mechanically gifted, learn how to fight well with people. It also helps networking, like through the top 50 Discord. You can be playing with Enoch next season. But yeah, that's definitely, I think it's really, really important. If you're specifically like an MNK player looking to be an IGL, then yeah, I wouldn't recommend ranked as much because you're not going to learn anything in terms of like game sense in that aspect. But yeah, I think ranked is super important. So I wish Respawn specifically would care just slightly more about it. They kind of do, they just take a long time when they make changes for that.
How many days do you think we're looking at till we see a leaderboard?
Oh, dude, this is
Never.
the worst one. Dude. This is the worst thing.
I don't think. I don't know if they'll ever do it in game. I think if they did it, they would come out with like an official one online. And I know that I play a game called Hearthstone. That's like my second game that I play for like fun. Hearthstone has been out for over 10 years now. They just had their 10-year anniversary, and they don't have an in-game leaderboard, but they use one on the website, like the official website. You can look it up. I want to assume that it has something to do with like they don't want people having bad names and being on the leaderboard, or like having websites where they like sell boosts or cheats or like whatever. That's the assumption I want to make.
That's fair.
But I do think that it should be at least on like the Apex Legends website.
I would say though that if they did have a ranked leaderboard in game and somebody was trying to promote their cheats with their leaderboard, I mean that would be the easiest way for hideouts.
Yeah,
to be like,
right.
I think this guy. I don't know. This guy's looking a little suspicious here.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I want it. I really think it should happen. But like if I were to put myself in their shoes, like that's the main thing I could think of. No, they won't do it.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. And then another point I wanted to add to just your entire take about just people dropping in ranked is the fact that yesterday I played a ranked game that ended in round 2. So
Yeah.
maybe let's get these games to go a little bit longer there because it's a little weird playing the final squad in round 2. It's a little odd.
It's been pretty consistent. I mean, Enoch's like, what are you like, rank 2 or 3 right now, Enoch? I know you grind
3 right now.
3, yeah, and you finished rank 1 last split, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
So like you could probably tell that specifically this split, the games have been ending even quicker because I believe this split they actually made kills even more important than they were last split or last season. And I think it also has to do with people kind of get bored because if they don't ape, then there's just no one else alive. So it's just a snowball effect of 7 teams just landed Skyhook or 7 teams just landed whatever. Like we have to just run to go find kills because we can't upgrade our armors. We can't get points to rank up. Like it's just a snowball effect.
Yeah, if you're a triple blue armor team and you're in zone, you're just eventually going to get pulled up on by the triple red armor team that's killed half the lobby, and you are going to get just straight walked on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in rank, there's no such thing as looting and rotating to zone. It's looting and where can we go third party someone? That's
like if you are ever trying to like get a reset, the safest place for you to go is center zone. That you like if you want to get a reset off, if you try hitting a respawn on any edge, you're chalked. Center
actually so
zone,
funny how true
there
that
will
is.
not be a soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I find it funny because it's just I can't think of many other games where I don't know, like if you were to watch ALGS, there's like obviously some things you could take back into your own gameplay, but like for the whole grand scheme of how it's played, you can't take that into your ranked and then use it to succeed in any way, which has just always felt weird. I was big in playing Counter Strike, like a little bit of Overwatch, Rocket League. Like those are games I've all like grinded ranked very hard, and I always liked watching the esports side of things to then be like, how can I take this back to my games? I don't know if you could do that in Apex anymore,
Yeah, and
or like for a long
also
time.
something that's also really big between ranked and competitive is the character meta is completely different because of the structure and style of how ranked is supposed to be played. That like characters like Fuse are just kind of mid in ranked. Like people still play them. Characters like Seer are almost dead characters in ranked when that's like one of the most picked characters in the game right now in comp.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Lifeline Path Rev meta is how can we get in here, get some KP, and then get out and craft banners if we get third party. That's what the meta is right now in ranked.
So one other idea that you mentioned in the last time you came on that we toyed with a little bit that I wanted to see if you were still thinking about this one was the fact that there was legends, or sorry, not legends, there were weapons. We were talking about making it to where you could progress your weapon through shooting it the same way we do with our shields right now. That was something we talked about a long time on the last time you were on. Is that something you would think about considering as well, kind of like Evo weapons?
Yeah, so like the whole idea behind a change like that is I think the loot pool in Apex is still too cluttered with just random stuff. If I could make a decision right now, I would remove the entire white item category, like the white attachments, and I would just make them default to the gun, and the only difference would be blue, purple, and gold. I think that there's a big enough of a difference between white being on the gun default and you getting lucky and finding a gold. It's kind of the same concept with how armors used to be. You used to spawn in with no armors, and then someone would find white armor and they'd have such a big advantage, or someone would have purple armor and they'd have like the most insane advantage for like I get it, it's exciting, but like come on, like let's make the game more fair. I understand it's a BR, so there is, RNG aspect to it, but it doesn't need to define everything. And I think that does also include weapons, but it's like a positive change. If you get rid of like the whole white item category, it cleans up the loot pool so that the game paces better. There's just less trash. You're not finding white backpacks all the time. Like I'll open a bin and see 4 white backpacks, and I'm like, all right, jump on top. I'm taking a picture. I'm putting that on Twitter right now. Like, what's the point? You don't even have 4 people on your team. Like,
It was a
but,
series.
yeah, but like
the good old series on Twitter of like the how
Yeah.
bad can a loot bin get?
Yeah, I remember I had I think it was like 2 years ago. I ran through Frag East. I think it was back when like TSM started to complain about Frag East getting shadow nerfed or
Shadow
something.
nerfed.
And I recorded
Should happen.
I
That did
recorded
happen.
me looting Frag East, and I pinged like it was like 27 Mozams and P20s. And I was like, dude, how is this even possible? Like that gun shouldn't even be in the game, in my opinion. But like, yeah, I think that every change that has been really beneficial in the history of Apex has reduced RNG between factors of whatever, like whether it's crafting batteries, so at least you have consistency for meds, or it's spawning in with armors and everyone being able to upgrade their stuff. So at the very least, I'd like them to see them test the Evo upgrade on weapons. It'd be cool. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be an interesting idea.
So, did you say P20 or Mozam shouldn't be in the game?
Mozam has honestly gotten pretty decent. It's not too
Because I
bad.
think the Mozam is like
Yeah.
off drop. There are a few guns I want more than a Mozam.
Yeah,
Because that thing is basically like a wingman.
It is interesting how some guns now are actually just like really strong off drop, like triple take and Mozam. I'd much rather have that than like a Prowler or a Nemesis, like sometimes, because like you can jiggle peek
Alternator too.
Yeah,
that thing's got a lot of damage in the mag.
Yeah, but also if they do the no drop ship, you're not going to be contested anymore. So let's just get those guns out of the game, clean up the loophole, and maybe get some more competitive rotations in. Maybe we can get a zone play style in. There's more than 4 teams alive every game.
Do you think that we'll ever see a rotation back to like a hard zone meta, or do you think that given the Evo system and everything else that's taking place, that we're just like too far past the point of a hard zone meta?
I think that a hard zone meta will never happen in ranked, for the fact that Apex is old enough now where people have the boredom factor, where they don't really want to just sit in a building. There's also another thing that comes into play for that is there's no importance to ranked other than trying to get rank 1. There's got to be some type of value for people to play ranked, and I don't think there is any value at all right now. because most people when they play, they've hit diamond before, they've hit their goals. Like maybe there's some people that are still going for masters, whatever. But once you hit masters, there's like nothing else after that. There's not like a masters tier. Like there's no like different tier of masters or anything. There's no rewards. There's no, I don't know. There's not really any reason for people to play other than just having fun and fighting. So I think that's another drawback.
Do you, all, and I'm curious from actually all your standpoints, but do you guys feel like outside of like masters, all the ranks are devalued? Like maybe this is just like me because like I was always able to like hit at the very least diamond, but I feel like any other rank just has never felt like it's been valued in Apex because it always seemed like bronze to gold kind of blended in with each other. Plat was when things started kind of getting a little bit like difficult, but then realistically, if you put enough time, diamond was pretty simple to get to. So the biggest problem I saw with Apex is that each rank didn't feel like it didn't feel good to get to gold because it didn't feel like an extra challenge as opposed to there's other games like Valorant, like, you know, if people get to Ascendant, which isn't the highest rank, there's Immortal and then there's Radiant, they still feel pretty happy about it, right? I don't know. Do you guys agree with that? Like ranks in Apex have always kind of been devalued?
Yeah. You're gonna say something, JMO?
No, I mean, I was just gonna say what I said before is like, if they keep the rank system or the tier system exactly how it is now, at least in Masters, there should be different parts of Masters, so you can kind of distinguish how much you've progressed, other than an RP value. But yeah, I don't know. It's just it doesn't. There just seems to be no incentive for anyone to really care to go up in rank if they've already hit whatever rank they want. I don't know.
Yeah.
My thing has always been just the rewards. And I've said it so many times on so many different platforms how the reward system is just so bad. And it's just gotten worse because they took away arguably the best reward, which was the dive trails that a lot of people went for. I love the way a game like Rocket League does it, where you get into a rank, right? And then when you hit that rank, you have to win a certain number of games in that rank in order to get a special reward for said rank. And they have it for every single one. And I think that if Apex were to put in a system, whether it is like almost the exact same, where it's like, okay, you've reached gold now, if you can win 10 games, which I feel like is a lot more meaningful in a BR rather than like a Rocket League game, right? Because it's like, it's going to take you a lot longer to win 10 games in Apex. So I just feel like they have to do different things, like add in challenges, add in different rewards for each rank to make it to where people feel like it is worth the time to play it. I think that's why the values of each rank have felt diminished, because you get in, there's a little flash on the screen, you're like, oh, you're gold now, and then it's like, okay, keep going, and that there's nothing else for you. Like there's nothing else there. So I think they need to really hone in on the rewards. And then I like what you said about the Masters thing too. If there was like different versions of the Masters, I think that'd be super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I play a game called Hearthstone. It's like a card game by Blizzard. They have whatever rank you get progressively better awards or rewards. So like if you get like the highest rank, which is Legend, they'll give you like 6 packs of or 10 packs of cards plus like dust to create cards and like a special card back that they make every single month. And if you get gold, you get like half that amount or something. So, and I know like Apex isn't the biggest fan of giving away free packs, because anything that is equal to money, they want to not do that. But I'm sure they could come up with some cosmetic thing that is like something they can consistently refresh or update. That would give enough incentive to want to like play the game every single month or every season or something. But what is there right now? It's just the badges. There's like a badge season or something. I don't
It's
even.
the badge, and then you get like a gun charm, but you get one every season. And this is my other thing with it, is it's like the rewards that they do give you, because they do, I can't say they don't give you anything, because they do, but the ones that they give you, it's just the same thing every season with like a very slight kind of like change. Like a game, like I'll go back to Rocket League again. Every season they pick a new item that is going to be the item you get in your reward. So maybe one season you'll get wheels. Maybe one season you'll get a like decal. Maybe one season you'll get a boost. Maybe one season you'll get just like a different version of like a car or something. Like that changes every season, and with or like a goal explosion. and you play those 10 games, you win those 10 games in that rank. Like, let's say, like, typically I'll get to diamond. I want to win the 10 games in diamond so that I can get the diamond goal explosion or whatever it is.
Yeah, it has,
and they
it has to
change
be
it every
something unique.
season.
It has to be something unique, because if it's just the same thing every single time, like a badge that's the same, that's just a little bit different or whatever, then people just don't care anymore. That's it. Like, it has to be something that's unique.
Other than season 2 and 3, because they're not animated, I cannot tell the difference between any of the badges.
Yeah,
I think
I don't
actually
look at them.
they recently they started to make them look different again, but that's
Yeah.
probably like in the last 5 seasons, and then those ones blend in with each other. So yeah,
Could
I
not tell
can't-
you a single like. I have a lot of Pred badges, and I could not tell you what like
Which
a
one's
single
which.
season which one's from which.
Yeah.
I could be
Yeah.
looking at them in front of me, and I probably could not tell you.
And it would be even cooler if they could like make a way for you to display the ones that you have gotten. Like, let's say a guy like Enoch who's gotten Pred however many splits in a row. If you could show that, like if somebody could hover over his account and show it off, I think that would even give people an incentive to be like, I want people to see like I am that guy. Whenever they hover over my name or whatever it is, they don't even offer that. So it's just like the reward you do get, you get it for yourself, and it doesn't really change. So yeah, I just think it has the rewards have to be better, and I think it would make the rank feel way more meaningful, on top of the fact that if they changed up the mode to where you just dropped in like you mentioned earlier, then it changes the mode again, and then the like vivaciousness of ranked is back. Like, people feel like it's different, something new, something they have to work hard for. Because imagine dropping Cliffside like 3 games in a row and you're like, we got to make it work. We got to figure this out, you know?
And another thing with the whole random drop idea is, personally, when I play ranked, I get bored of just landing at the best POIs every game. It like, I don't want to go trials again, dude. Like, I understand you can switch it up every now and then, but like, you're not going to be landing Geyser or like Frag East or just the like coastal camp Stormcut or on Stormpoint, like the bad POIs. Like, sometimes when you have no choice and it throws me at that, I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna do the best thing I can to make this happen. It wasn't my choice that I'm here, but I'm here. We're gonna win this game. And when you win, it's gonna feel that much better. But now when you're on the dropship, you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna fly to the best POI or just fly to third party something. And it's the same thing every single game.
Yeah. And people love it. Sorry to cut you off. People love a challenge. They've got like, you've got the Elden Ring people right now trying to play the DLC with like, no, I can't take a single hit challenge or whatever. And then you've got EA Sports College Football. They're choosing the lowest level recruit going to the shittiest college and trying to make things work on the hardest difficulty. Like, people want that challenge. In Apex right now, there is not a whole lot of challenge once you reach, you know, your rank or whatever it is. Like, you could try to grind for it, but then once again, we get back to the point of what would be the purpose, because you're not going to get anything, you know? So yeah, it's a vicious circle that we've got ourselves into right now.
Yeah, I was gonna honestly even say something similar, that like having people spread out amongst the map, I think it opens up the ability to get 20 bombs and 4Ks again legitimately. Like a 4K
Yeah.
now, like if you
Yeah.
get one, you just kind of like sit around and poke damage of the last 2 teams, right? Whereas like it should theoretically keep teams alive and you could rotate through the map. You can't drop a 20 bomb right now unless you're extremely lucky or smurfing, because of the fact that everyone just drops on 1 POI and dies. Like,
Yeah,
they're
man.
they're not alive.
Now that I think of it, it would be a great idea in pubs too, because all I've seen on Reddit for the last 4 years is people complaining about everyone landing fragment and like hot
Fragment,
dropping.
Streamer building.
Like,
Man,
zip
if
lines
they
and,
did that in pubs, I think that I would hate that. I think that'd be so silly.
I agree. Like,
I mean,
I'm not
get it,
I'm
but
not for it, but like now that I think about it, maybe some people would want it.
I think that there are people out there who would enjoy it, and it definitely would make like the duration of pubs like way longer, and like you would see more mid game stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
pubs is for having fun.
I just
do what you want.
What is the point of play? Yeah, it's like I would only play pubs to hot drop, fraggies.
Yeah.
Like sorting factory. Like, there's only 2 landing spots in my opinion on basically any map when you're playing a pub lobby.
Yeah.
Because like that's what you're just going there to get like, I feel like the only reason you should play pubs is because you're trying to get reps and you're trying to have fun. You're trying to get that gunny. And if we're randomly spacing everybody out through a pub map, it's like, I gotta wait 5 minutes between every fight. Like, at that point, it's like, okay, I'm only playing control and TDMs. That's it.
No. But I'm even saying for rank. Like, I was watching some rank streams yesterday, and like Broken Moon was up, and everyone just dropped Quarantine Zone. That was it. Like
Yeah,
quarantine zone, that's that.
that's all I do
So-
when I play ranked on that map because it's just so boring if you don't do it, and it has the best loot, it has the best rotations to find third parties, and I don't know, it's just
Yeah. Which, I mean, it seemed fun. Like, it was pretty crazy, but I'm like, I don't know. Like, I like having the intense end games. Like, I guess I'm such an ALGS fan. I want things to feel like I'm playing ALGS. I'm not a pro. I'm never gonna be a pro. So, like, at least let me feel like I can get that experience.
No,
Are
I
you guys
think
gonna
that's huge. That'd be so cool for like the casual player.
are you guys gonna bring up the hot take that I made the other week
Why don't you hit it?
Which
Hit
one
us
is
with
that
it.
one?
with
Because
the streamer bans?
that's I was wondering about that one at some point. Yeah.
So I tweeted out that I think Respawn should have a partner system with specific vetted EA creators under contract that allows them to suspend or flag potential cheaters at the upper level, like in like Pride Masters lobbies, because that is like where all the cheaters, they're like stuffed in a bag, and that's where they're at. And it got a lot of heat, a lot of hot takes. A lot of people thought it was a great idea. A lot of people thought it was a terrible idea. But I think when we sit down and really think about it, if you have someone like, let's say Enoch, for example, and he goes through the vetted EA creator program, he's met some of the devs in person, I'm sure, and they allow him to flag or temporarily suspend whatever he thinks is a very, very blatant, obvious cheater, like someone like literally hard aimbotting, 100% accuracy, like obvious cheater, right? And when we play this game as much as we have, it's pretty easy to tell the obvious cheaters. I think they should come out with a system that has that, so it brings the community together, at least in the upper level ranked, and helps us fight against cheaters, because lately cheaters have been the absolute peak worst it's ever been in Apex history, and there is zero progress or any resolution to it stopping or anything happening with it. And yeah, you could say like, oh yeah, EA just needs to hire more people to ban. Well, what if we just did both? Why don't we hire more people to ban, and also we give people under contract specific abilities to suspend or flag cheaters, not permanently ban, just suspend or flag. And then you can also have a potential other system where the only way he can do that is through submitting video proof from a stream. And then that can be looked at kind of like the Overwatch system from CSGO. It can be looked at by other community members and be like, okay, yeah, this guy was definitely cheating. I'm checking him as a for sure cheat. And then anyone that gets banned can also appeal. So there's just so many like steps that you can go through to like help clean up the ranked system, ranked environment. I'd really like to hear Enoch's opinion on this, because I know he's been ranked 1 multiple times and he plays all day, every day. So
Yeah, I would definitely be in favor of that. I think that would, because at times you do just feel helpless, and especially like with the situation last week with Watson, where the dude literally was like could not stream for 4 days straight because he would get on and just be getting like stream sniped blatantly by like a hard aimbotter. And
by an aimbotter is
there's
important because
Yeah.
these people who are streaming that would be able to like flag or suspend people, they wouldn't be able to do it on people that they think are stream sniping them or they think are potentially cheating. It would have to be a blatant case scenario of like someone like, okay, he's flying in the air with a Rampart ult and just killing everyone. Like, just get that guy out of here right away.
Yeah, and then there's like a few weeks ago, there's like a spin to win guy who's literally just looking at the ground and just shooting, and just everybody was just getting decimated. So like stuff like that, it would really go a long way in terms of being able to like get those instances down. And then I think like, yeah, I think it would be a huge change. Obviously, I'm a little biased as somebody who deals with it more than most.
Let's try to put ourselves.
I think like the amount of times where somebody would get misbanned, given the guidelines that are put in place, I think it would be like exceptionally low. Because I really do think the majority of people undervalue how easy it is to tell when you've played 10,000 hours of Apex level at a high lobby when somebody's cheating versus when they're a good player. And I think that it's like way easier for like me to be able to tell and like a guy like you to be able to tell than a casual will like really ever be able to understand. Because there's just so many layers that you were able to pick up and perceive that they're just missing.
There's even in the current system, there's false bans that happen all the time. And personally, I put more faith in the upper level like stream community of people who are vetted. They've met devs, they've signed a contract, they're putting their own stream or brand at risk with their own accounts at risk so they can't abuse the system. I trust that more than the actual automated system, because I have seen lots of people that I know have been banned and unbanned just from the system of just flagging like random accounts. But let's just put ourselves in the shoes of people who think this is a terrible idea, because there was a lot of people. I would say half the people said it was amazing, it should happen. Half the people said it was the worst idea. Even Raven, the old coach of TSM, he said it was top one, the worst idea that he had ever seen. That was his words. So let's put ourselves in his shoes. What do you guys think are reasons why this actually is a terrible idea and shouldn't even be considered?
The only one that comes to mind for me would just be like streamers who just get super upset, they're raging and they just like throw it out there. But I don't see that happening as often as it used to. I feel like earlier Twitch days, that happened a lot more. I don't think that's happening as much now, especially in this game, because it's almost like you get like, even as a casual, when I'm watching like Enoch stream or something like that, and I tune in, you can see he's getting cheated on. It's very obvious to see. Like, I don't know. I think that might be the number one is, the rage thing. And then I think there's a weird complex with the viewer and the streamer about how much privilege the streamer gets in a particular game. And I think that's probably where a lot of the hate is coming from on that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you'd agree with that, but I think there is like a weird dichotomy between the streamer viewer. A lot of people say pros and streamers get whatever they want in this game. I would say, honestly, it's more 50-50. I think both sides have kind of gotten some things going their way, other things not. So I don't know. I think those two things stand out the most.
Yeah, I agree with like what you're saying there in the second half. I think the sort of like the viewpoint that streamers get whatever they want, pro players, they're always catering to pros is what a lot of the casual community kind of says often. I think that's where a lot of the hate comes from. And then I think, and I'm not speaking for anyone, not speaking for Raven, I think a lot of people jumping on the negative or no side maybe aren't thinking about it as fleshed out as like you are, as like saying like it needs to be like a vetted process, like with a system where there's guidelines in place where it has to be like with like no reasonable doubt, like this is a cheater. That's the only time you can pass it along, or else there's like repercussions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking like people aren't thinking about it as like fleshed out, and they're just assuming we give top 5, top 10 streamers, and then like just let them ban whoever or something like that, right? So that's what I'm thinking.
I think a lot of people look at it as face value and they're just like, oh man, how is that even fair? But like even looking at like the fair standpoint of like, oh, why would we let streamers ban? Like, why can't we ban or whatever? Like statistically, the top level of ranked is where all the cheaters end up. So
Also, does it not already happen? Like, we're not going to sit here and act like we know that we haven't seen Hal DM hideouts on stream and get someone.
oh
banned.
yeah. I
Like,
mean,
so it's like it has already happened. Like,
pros and streamers have access to private reporting already, and that's been a thing for over 2 years. It's already a thing, but the only thing is the only thing it does is kind of like separate it from the automated reporting system, and it goes in through like a certain bot where that just gets checked. But even that is not good enough, because I could go on that channel right now and it's just like every 5 minutes is a report, every 2 minutes. And when you're playing at like pred level or masters, what would you say, Enoch? Like 1 in every 3 games right now you see a cheater? Maybe even 2?
I mean, I would say that there's I mean, it depends on like if you're saying like by cheater you mean like aimbotter, like yeah, I would say there's like an aimbotter probably like every few games. But I would say that there are people who are like wall hacking, or doing something.
Those are the people you wouldn't be able to suspend because you
There are people that are doing that every single game, no question.
Yeah, I think 100% of games has someone that's doing wall hacks or something. But yeah, I guess I would say like probably every 1 in 3 games would have an aimbotter right now. I think that's how bad it is in the current rank system. Like someone that you could be like, oh yeah, Enoch, I need to get this guy banned right away because he's just blatantly cheating for sure.
Yeah. I was playing Control last night. Someone was hacking. Like, what are you hacking in Control for? Like, are you
Yeah.
that bored? Like,
Yeah. That's the thing is like if you're playing at like platinum level or gold or silver, you're not going to be running into blatant cheaters one in every 3
Yeah.
games because there's just so many players that the pool of players is spread out. Like let's say there's 100 cheaters, you might have 2,000 players playing. So like you're not going to see people cheaters like that frequently. But in the higher level, there's just barely any people playing. So every single game of a 60-player lobby has a cheater in it. So
and if any top streamers are online, like they're
yeah,
like you guys said, there's like stream sniping,
yeah.
Jack, and all that stuff.
I mean, regardless, I just think that there needs to be something because there has been zero progress to handle cheaters in the past year or two. I can't think of anything on top of my head that they have done differently to handle cheaters, unless it's something on the back end, but it clearly isn't working because the cheaters are insane right now. And I just think that at some point in time, we need to have some type of like community reinforcement to help fight this shit on our own. And it's just unbelievable how bad it's gone.
Yeah, I've always been, and like this, like if you were ever to talk to my IRL friends, I've always been on the side of giving like the devs a lot of benefit of the doubt. And this is kind of like the first time that I'm like really feeling concerned about the state, like of the cheaters specifically, because I just feel like, yeah, we really haven't seen any solutions and haven't seen it get better. And then also I've started to see like tweets about, like, I've always thought, so back in the day, like CSGO started prime matchmaking where you had to have a phone number attached to your Steam Guard account. Like you had to have like the Steam Authenticator and a phone number attached to your account, and then that's the only way you got into what was Prime matchmaking. And if you didn't have that, you could still play ranked, but you weren't getting Prime, and you would end up in lobbies with cheaters all the time, right? And so
Mhm.
it made it that like because you couldn't have multiple phone numbers for the first little bit, nothing changed. But you notice like over time, once those cheater accounts got banned, ranked got cleaned up, and it was great. And so I always thought that that would be a great way, like how EA could do it with cross progression and everything like that. Everyone already has to use this game through a EA Play account. So you attach a phone number, and it can only be one phone number. And if that account gets banned, that account either like can't play ranked or goes into a different matchmaking pool, whatever you want to make it, right? And I saw a tweet, someone saying that they talked to devs about this. I can't remember who tweeted this out, but they said that they talked to devs about this, and they said that that wouldn't be a solution. And I'm like, I don't see how that can't be a solution here. And if that can't be a solution, then I get concerned because I'm like, then what do you do? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's at its worst state. It's been and like you could say like you got to do it using an email, but the email is too easily
You can make too many
replaceable. You can
emails,
make
right?
too many emails. Like a phone
Yeah.
number is something legitimate. Like you have to be able to, like, you're not going to be able to switch your phone number on a dime like that all the time. And I think, yeah, if they say that that's not an option, yeah, that's concerning.
I wish they would, I mean, at least just do something. I mean, they could even at least make it so like once you hit masters, you have to have a phone number. Like just something, man. Like I don't know. It's just I genuinely feel helpless at like playing ranked. Pros don't even like to play ranked anymore. Like it's tough. I don't know. I think it affects the game at a very large scale too, because on a marketing level, Twitch and YouTube is like they're the biggest platforms for helping the game grow. And when you don't have your biggest streamers playing the game, or they like feel like they have to play the game when they don't really even want to because of the situation that we're in right now, it's just bad. So like, let's just try something, dude. Let's just try something.
As like so when it comes to videos, like I obviously do like mostly ALGS videos, but my third most viewed video was like actually like me playing the game. I've wanted to start doing like content based around me playing the game, but just hearing how much people talk about like the cheaters at the highest level, I'm like, I don't want to put 100 hours into the grinding this game for a video that I'm gonna end up feeling like I can't finish because of like a cheater situation, right? And I know that's happened to certain streamers. Like Noko, he's quit like three different things that he's tried to do at this point because he's like, I can't like finish my challenge at the top level because too many cheaters.
Yeah,
So-
not everyone's built like Enoch with his mentality.
exactly.
Yeah,
Enoch's
Enoch's got a
it's just a
different
test.
level
I was
mentality.
watching, I think it was Enoch's stream one time, and he like died to a cheater, and he's just like, it's just a test.
It's just a test.
And I was like, I started dying laughing. I was
It's
like, that's
just a test.
I was like, that's so on brand for Enoch. I
It
was like,
is.
bro,
It
Of
is.
course.
Hey, but I'll tell you what. In the year, almost 2 years I've done this podcast
Oh,
with
God.
Enoch, my mentality on certain things like life affecting me in a bad way has changed. There's
Yeah.
been times where truck broke down, and I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, I'll be all right. You know, the
I just
slingshot
know
method.
Enoch has some way to vent though. He's got like some glass bottles that he throws every now and
Yeah,
then.
Enoch's
He
got a
got
secret
something.
like he's got like his secret room with just a bat and a bunch of glass.
He's got a
bottles,
gun
and he just
range in the
goes to
backyard
town.
or something. I don't know what it is. But
Yeah.
he bumps his camera to the side and there's like 8 holes in the wall.
There's
Like, I gotta
holes.
mute up real
Throwing
quick. I'll be
match
right
set up in the back.
Yeah.
Nah, one day. One day.
Yeah. Well, this is how much of an idea craftsman you are, is the fact that we are almost 40 minutes into this interview and we have not mentioned Furia even one time. And I feel like we
Yeah,
should
Furia was
probably do that. We should probably do that right
Yeah.
now. So last time we were talking to you, you were part of Dark Zero. Now you're part of Furia. And obviously things have been going great. You guys, it was third place, right? You guys were sitting second for a long time there.
Yeah, we
You're
were in
third
second.
place now.
We were in second all of split 2, and then on finals we got 6th, and TSM I think they got second or third, so they passed us. So we finished third, and they finished second.
Yeah,
in
so
finals, in finals, you guys had a big game the last game. You're scaring me again, like split
Yeah.
1, where they like dropped to 0 points
Yeah,
in
we
regional
didn't-
final,
we
went from
didn't
like
show
third
up.
down to like 8th.
Yeah, we didn't show up for work that day. We were prepped and ready, and I was watching the games. And after game 3, I was like, "All right, listen, something needs to change because what we're doing right now is we didn't show up for work today. I don't know what the fuck needs to change. Sorry for swearing, but yeah, the team like they all realized we talked and we're like, okay. And then I think the next game we also had a mid game, but like we had changed our mental. And then game 5 we did okay, and then game 6 we won the game, which brought us back. We were in 16th, and it brought us up to 6th. Yeah, it was just, I guess, to carry this conversation forward. During all of split 1, when we were playing with his Watson, we were also in second place, I believe, all of Pro League, and we were dominating. We were doing really well. And then during finals, we got 20th, and it was last place, and it bumped us down to 10th. And we still made land, so we were happy. But we didn't realize that Esports World Cup was doing invites based on the top 8 teams of that split. So we went from being second all split. We had a dud of a day in finals, and we got put in 10th. We made it to land, but we didn't get invited to Esports World Cup. And it was just such an unfortunate situation because we didn't get to practice with Watson for that entire week before finals because he was going through his issues that we know has already come out and all that stuff. But and it's not just his fault, it's everyone. But regardless, like, it's just so unfortunate. We didn't know about the Esports World Cup situation. But I'm happy that it didn't happen again, split 2. And we are going to Germany. And the good thing is, since we didn't make finals the first land that we went to, we still got a decent amount of points because I think we finished 22nd. So I think at Germany, all we have to do is get top 30 out of 40, and we get an invite to champs as well. So
Yeah, a lot of teams who were at split 1 playoffs are like not going back, like from every
actually,
region.
yeah, the
right?
cutoff for champs might actually be insanely low because there's so many teams that didn't make land during the whatchamacallit. Or it could be higher. I'm not sure how that will work.
I'd have to look into the math. Like, it makes me curious about a team like E8 who finished in like 16th, for example. But like now they're not going to land. They still
And
have a
DSG.
chance at champs, or like DSG. Well, DSG's already qualified for champs by being in like because they finished top 8th and top 8th.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
but like I used E8 or even Nasky's team, for example. Like they were like 15th,
Mhm.
16th, going back and forth. They actually might have a chance at champs still, just because of the fact that like a lot of those other teams haven't got in there. So yeah,
I'm not sure how that's going to work. It's going to be interesting, but yeah, we are excited. The draft system hit different for us. We are farming the split with the draft system. I think a lot of teams just got way too comfortable with being with their set rotation, set comp, doing the same thing for 2 years straight. And my team, we have flexibility in compositions, and we have also flexibility in play styles. So and really good adaptability with our team. So no matter what POI we went to, we're like, okay, we're grinding this week, we're making this work, and we're also going to pick the comps that we want to play. So during cat meta, at the beginning of this split, we were not very good at it. So we're like, you know what? We're going to play Lifeline, and we're going to play Edge, and we're going to do well. And we did. So that helped us do really well during the first half. And then when the use meta came, we discovered that we were insane at Pathfinder. So we started playing Pathfinder, and we showed how well that worked. I think we walked away with a win one of the weeks. I can't remember, but yeah.
You guys even ran that Cliff_side. The prophecy
Yeah. You
was
guys hit it.
fulfilled from
You
Madness.
guys hit it.
What's
Like-
tragic is that week, I think we got like 11th or something, but we should have won. But that was the week that Madness had to do surgery with his he tore his ACL and he had to do surgery. And then also like, dude, this week has been this split has been a roller coaster for us. We had Madness tore his ACL, had surgery in the middle of the split, didn't get to practice with us in that Cliffside week. One of the days, Keon lost like power, had to go to his brother's house, play in his brother's room on like a 100 FPS setup or whatever it was. We won that week. And then another week, Vax lost power. Vax lives near Keon, so he had to drive his setup to Keon's and play from It was like, dude, what is... Everything's stacked against us. I don't know what's happening. But we pulled through. It felt good.
No, it was, you know what's crazy, and you mentioned the POI draft, and I'm assuming this is probably a reason for it. But when I think Furia, what I've always thought is super hot or super cold. You just never know what you're going to get. You could get a first place with 20 kills, or you could get a 20th and it looks like you didn't even know what you guys were doing out there. That was the old Furia. But this split, it just felt like this Furia was so much more consistent. And that's always been the problem with watching Furia, is like you don't know what you're going to get. This split, I felt like we knew what we were going to get the entire time. Was there any, other than the POI draft, was there any other change or any other thing that you think contributed to you guys having just a much more overall consistent split?
Well, Vaxilon being on our team now was definitely a huge puzzle piece that I think our team needed, that helped a lot. And I don't want to bash Watson, because Watson, I think, taught our team a really valuable lesson of like swinging for the fences and like, you know, being more aggressive and trying different things, trying different comps. Like one of the weeks that we played during split one with his Watson, he wanted us to try, we're just like, you know, we're going to try something different because we weren't doing well in scrims. And we whipped out like, it was like Watson and Valk or something. I don't remember what it was, but we ended up getting first or second that split just from his idea of like, you know, just not getting stagnant. So I love and respect that we had him on our team, and it put us at a certain level to where when Vax came in during split 2, we had so much flexibility in what we could do, because Vax was on 100 Thieves as like a Newcastle zone player. And then I've been on multiple rosters where like C9, we play hard edge, DZ, we played like flex. And then we have Keon and Madness, they can kind of do whatever. So like, I don't know, it just felt like everything clicked to where we could kind of just do whatever we want with whatever comp we wanted. And also the work ethic and passion of our team this split was perfectly on point. Like if I set a schedule, everyone was showing up. We were going above and beyond, doing VODs, doing scenarios and customs, like whatever we had to do, we were there doing it. So I don't know, it just worked. It worked really well. So I genuinely think that we can win Germany land in the position that we're in right now.
Yeah, well, Vaxlon, like, I mean, the fact that he wasn't in PL at one point was crazy. But then, like, you know, like as you mentioned about like his role on 100 Thieves, like I don't think people realize back in like year one when he was playing with Madness, CLG, you know, that team was good. Like they won a bunch of different like ALGSs, like the online tournaments, like I think the summer circuit playoffs, stuff like that. And I'd argue that Madness the Madness is great, but like Vaxlon was the best player on the team, carried that team, underrated when it came to like fragging out. And sure enough, I mean, funny enough, you're the one who tweeted out like top 25 players. I called this out last week where like you're like top 25 players, all rollers, but 2 of them were Furia players, Madness and Vaxlon, in top 10. And it was like, it's kind of funny that you were the one tweeting that out when you had your 2 MK players there.
Yeah.
Finishing that high. And so, yeah, to see Vaxlon overall finish 14th, not have a PL spot before playing with you guys, was just absolutely wild.
Yeah, Vax's bang, his bang, I think is the best in the world. His bang is insane. He is so good at bang. And another thing is with Vax is I think like when we picked up Madison Keon and Vax was a free agent, I think he ran through the issue of being the MNK player that people didn't want to pick up and trust. Everyone was still on the controller wave or whatever. And to be honest, I didn't really watch a ton of Vax and pay attention to him too much, but I just trusted Keon and Madness. Like when we knew that Watson was out and we had to pick up Vax, like they wanted to bring Vax in. I'm like, okay, I trust you guys. Like I'm not going to say no. Like that wasn't my idea. Genuinely, that was theirs, and he surprised me. He was even better than I thought. Like his mechanical ability is obviously insane as an MK player to be able to compete right now. But his flexibility to play so many different characters, specifically even just Bang right now, is such a key part of our team. And his mental is also really strong. So like our team, like we do get frustrated here and there, but we hold our composure really well, and we're super mature when it comes to handling problems. So I think that's another thing that Vax is really strong with our team, is he holds the team's mental together.
So you guys are running Pathfinder now, and I believe you guys were one of like the first teams to really incorporate him into the mix. What led you guys to that decision, and do you guys plan on using that moving forward?
So the first team I believe to try out Pathfinder was Liquid, but I don't think they were doing very well with it, and they switched off the comp. The reason we tried it out was because I think the meta, when people started playing Fuse, I think it was Bang Seer Fuse is what everyone was running, I believe.
I think there was some like cats in there, but it might have been Banksy or cat still. So like
We
yeah.
hated cat, so we were done
Yeah.
with cat no matter what. As soon as like the people stopped playing cat, we were like, okay, we need to figure out something because we don't want to play that. I think specifically on Stormpoint, I told my team, I was like, I don't think Seer is good. Like Seer is, the map is so big, and the flexibility and options that Pathfinder gives you with the zipline, and the zipline is genuinely so broken. You can zip across the whole map with 3 teams shooting you, and you take like 30 damage a player, and it's just crazy. But like Path has the flexibility of being able to be a UAV character or a ring console character. So if we ran, what we were doing is we were doing Bang, Seer, Path, and we put Keon on Path because Path was more of a comfort pick than Catalyst. And he also wasn't comfortable on Fuse either. So we're like, okay, we're going to try Bang Seer Path. And that was really good for us on World's Edge. And then when we went to Stormpoint, we just dropped Seer and we put Madness on Fuse. And that also was just like so OP because we have really good fight power with Fuse, but we have flexible rotations in terms of capitalizing on opportunities with the Pathfinder. So if we see a third party, we could throw a zipline and go that way. Or, you know what I mean? Like there's so many options. We don't get stuck like walking in and just dying. Like at least we can zip at something and fight and just make something happen and get KP on the board. But yeah, Keon's Pathfinder is insane. So that is part of the reason why we also wanted to just like try it, just like we did with Lifeline. Keon's Lifeline is also really good, even though most people weren't running it. It's just a pick that is, if he's so good at it and it's like considerably meta, then we're going to try it and we'll see how it goes. And it just worked really, really well for us.
That energized zip goes crazy.
Yeah.
I actually just think it's just so game changing, and it actually just is what Pathfinder needed to really like make comp Pathfinder possible.
Yeah, the rotations too on like World's Edge, you can hit a UAV, get your zip, throw a zip down, take it. While you're on the zip, there's 2 packs coming down. You scan both packs, you get another zip, you take a balloon, you fly, you do another zip. So you're across the whole map in like 30 seconds. It's actually nuts because you're guaranteed 2 zips at the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm. I was interesting enough. I joined Madness's stream today, like exactly when they started talking about some comps. I'm not sure if you were in the call too at the time, but they were talking because obviously today there was the hot fix for the Fuse exploit with the evac, right? Like that got removed, and so with that,
air quotes around that.
Yeah.
Fix.
Well, yeah, because there's the lifeline thing, but at the very least, you need to combo with a lifeline ult to be able to do that. I don't think it's going to be seen
Or
at
advantage ult.
Okay,
the Vantage Bird.
if you could do it with the Vantage Bird,
you can do it
Yeah,
off
the Vantage
Valkults
Bird
too.
is OP.
okay. So there's a lot more that's got to be fixed with it still.
Yeah,
Mind you,
can
but
do it off
again, like
Valkults too,
someone in comp has to run Vantage, has to run Valk to be able to do this, as opposed to just having an evac. A lot more versatile with an evac, right?
yeah.
So they were talking about what comp they would kind of like run going forward. It's interesting. I think it was Keon saying like he wasn't really a fan of Fuse anymore because he said Fuse, or maybe it was Seer, but he was basically saying how Seer works well with Fuse because they kind of could do both ults at the same time. Madness, on the other hand, said no. He thinks Seer's still good.
Madness loves, well, he doesn't love Seer, but he thinks very strongly that Seer is like hard meta no matter what. He doesn't really like Fuse. Keon likes Fuse and thinks that we should continue to play Fuse, like he's still good. I did forget to mention that one of the big reasons why we tried Pathfinder before is because I play a comp in ranked that is Path Fuse Lifeline. And the reason that comp is cool is because it's every single Evo Cash category. You have the Skirmisher from Pathfinder, You pick UAV on Pathfinder, you have Assault on Fuse, plus you get Ring Console on Fuse, and then you have Lifeline. So you have all the categories. So you can farm Evo really quickly. So like we actually tried that in scrims one time just to see how it went. We died to a bang ult, so we got off that comp, but we realized like Pathfinder Zip's kind of OP. So yeah, we did that. But anyways, the conversation with what were we just talking about? It was with the Fuse and the
Like
evacs right now.
the fuse in like without the evac being in the game now, the fuse seer combo isn't as strong.
So Seer is still going to be exactly the same, potentially even more important than before because he's the really like only valuable wall hack right now. The problem with Bloodhound is the cooldown is just way too long on the abilities now, and also the bird perk doesn't work. But I don't know, Seer is just better than Bloodhound at the moment. Fuse is still going to be picked, and Fuse is still strong because even though you can't do the evac exploit anymore, there's just so much KP value that you can get from being on Fuse, from throwing knuckle clusters, nades, and using ults on ring closures, stuff like that. He's still a ring console character. And another problem is all like ring console is a staple meta in competitive right now. There still has not been a meta other than like the Bang Blood Lifeline meta where you don't run a ring console. So like Fuse is like the best ring console character right now. The Catalyst is super mid. Watson's great, but Watson requires you to play Watson. You know what I mean? Like the Watson, like slow zone play style. So if you're a flex team or you like to play edge, you're not going to play Watson. Yeah, Fuse is the best option when it comes to ring consoles. So you're still going to see most teams, especially like Falcons, they're not going to switch off Bang, Seer, Fuse for Esports World Cup. I don't think. The thing is, back to the conversation I mentioned before, Path, Fuse, Lifeline has every class category, and you can fuse off the Lifeline packs. And you might see people try that. I think Aurora might try something out. Maybe they do like Bang Fuse Lifeline instead of Path, because Bang also still disables aim assist. But yeah, the Lifeline thing, I don't know. Have you seen how it works?
Yeah, it doesn't even look like it hits the crate. It literally looks like it hits the sky.
It goes to the sky. It goes like 2 times higher than the evac tower. I would say though, because I did it in ranked, just to kind of see how it was today. It's very difficult to pull off if you're not like directly like under it. You have to be like within a small circle of under it because you have to look straight up. If you're looking at an angle, the pack it goes down too fast. Where if you try to shoot your ult, it'll like cancel your ult and it just doesn't even go. So you have to be kind of like underneath the Lifeline pack. It's a little finicky when it comes to using it, but I genuinely think there's a world where some teams will try Fuse Lifeline in competitive. We might see teams do it for Esports World Cup. If it doesn't happen for that, we might see it for Germany. Yeah, it's honestly it's pretty broken still, because what I thought of was, do you remember the first rendition of the Furia roster where they were the first team to play Seer and no one else had it? And they kind of just ran around from building to building. They threw Seer ult and they just killed them for free. It's gonna be the same thing with Fuse Lifeline potentially. If you're playing Edge and you just pull up to a team, you put a Lifeline pack and shoot your ult, you're just gonna kill that team. They can't do anything about it. You can't, if they have Fuse, they can't shoot your Lifeline pack because it comes down too fast. They can't react to it. There's no notification. So you'll be the only team with wall hacks. So I think there's a world where teams will play Edge and just spot hop and just take 3v3s and just kill teams for free. And Lifeline, if anyone gets knocked, you just reset with tapping. So I don't know. I think it's potentially super meta breaking in competitive. Not in ranked.
Res gang or drone gang?
I'm res gang. You can make an argument in ranked to use drone, but I think res gang is better. I think res is better because especially when you have gold knockdown, it's just so important that the person gets up before they get thirsted anytime they get knocked. Drone is good, but res is just clutch. Like,
hey, what you said was enough for me. Like
yeah, I like res gang.
So how much of because obviously Jumbo was talking about how they were going through what legends they want to try to test out, maybe pick. How much of your input goes into what exactly they're going to be playing on any given week? Like, do you kind of leave it up to them to be like, okay, this is what you guys figure out what you're going to do and we can go from there? Or do you have like a heavy amount of input into what exactly they should be moving forward and maybe even giving them like different ideas and stuff like that?
On Furia, my team gives me 100% trust to just make all the decisions when it comes to any comp, POI, or rotations that we're doing. I do tell them though that we kind of do like a voting process on the team to where like if I have an idea and they vote like 2 of them vote no, then I'm not going to force it on them. But most of the time they trust my opinion and they just do whatever I say, even if they disagree with it. And I have never had pushback when it comes to like I tell them they give me their give me their thoughts and their opinions and everything, and I hear them out. But they trust me heavily when it comes to doing whatever, like us picking Cliffside, for example. And we actually still prefer Cliffside over Coastal Camp. We think Cliffside is a better POI on the POI
Well, I've heard
draft.
a lot of people say that potentially because like the north side of the map with Storm Point, the elevation, especially for rotations, just like so powerful, so much better. I think from Cliffside, you get access to that trident, do you not?
You don't get access to the Trident. Technically, if Elrod wants to race you to it, they have priority on that, but you don't need the Trident.
Okay.
The reason Cliffside is strong is because the loot that you get at the beginning of the game is irrelevant. And the only thing that matters is your rotations to Evo caches and consoles. So the problem with Coastal Camp is a lot of the times you don't get an Evo cache or you get blocked out on rotations because you're stuck between Echo, Pylon, and Barrow. Barrow most of the time is a hard edge team to where they're just blocking their rotate. And then sometimes Pylon stays there, sometimes they don't. Sometimes Echo will just come across at you and have better loot than you, and you're stuck into a fight that's just awkward. Coastal is just like, and not only that, it's in a way worse position on the map. But yeah, Cliffside is drastically underrated. I'm not going to say it's good, but it's definitely better than Coastal Camp because it at least gives you pretty much a guaranteed Evo cache, sometimes 2. You can start out with UAV every now and then, but you just mirror Stormcatcher because Stormcatcher is a zone team. And if you get zone in the top right quadrant, you just play zone. Like you're in an amazing spot for any Elrod zone or anything. So as long as you have character choices that supplement you being able to play zone when you have it, which is a big reason why we played Lifeline from there. Because if we got zone, we'd just be calling packs in and we would get batteries, we'd get whatever we needed and we'd get cover. So yeah.
Yeah, if there wasn't so many like southeast zones in Split 1, I think people would realize Coastal Camp is basically dome.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even at Germany, if we get first picked on the draft, we're probably picking Cliffside and we're playing Lifeline. It's just the best. It's just the best option.
First pick, you're going
Like
Cliffside?
1-1, like 1-1.
No, no. If we get if we're first pick on the draft, we'll go trials and then pick Cliffside on the way back.
Okay,
Okay, I see.
yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
How?
But even on the way back, it's not a snake draft. I thought it's like you get first and 21 at LAN.
No, that's only in finals.
Oh, okay. I thought it was for
Actually,
the whole thing.
I think I don't. Well, I think finals is the same as how it was in Pro League finals. I could be wrong though. Maybe you just taught me something.
I think I saw LAN was supposed to be like because I even heard I saw a bunch of tweets that would be like finally like you know the breaking hands from the chains like meme and everything like that. No
Yeah.
snake draft anymore. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like first and then you get 21.
Interesting. Okay, so how would that work though? Because we finished third in PL, so like there's
So-
other teams that have finished third in PL too. So that's what I don't get.
The only thing I have no idea about how it works is the group stage seeding. The group stage seeding makes no sense to me, but winners bracket, like the losers brackets, and then obviously the finals. The way I understand that is that like if you're seeded first, it's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
be
yeah. I'm
first
talking
and then
about group
21st.
stages.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
That then I have no idea because like the group stage seeding makes no sense to me, like how they're doing it cross.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to announce stuff. I don't.
Yeah.
Most of the time, Minus Tempo is like completely accurate on his the stuff that he says and puts out. But we'll just see. I mean, we still have to wait for EWC to end, so kind of just riding it through. Which I'm so sad that we're not EWC. That we need to talk about how EWC is going to be the largest prize pool that we have ever had in Apex history, while also being the easiest land that we've had in the past like 3 years. Like,
Yeah.
bro, you have 10 North American teams, and you have like I think it's 16 teams that didn't even qualify to Germany that are in EWC. That's almost half the teams in EWC, or maybe it is half or over half, whatever it is. Like, dude, I'm so sad that we're not in that tournament. Like, I really think we deserve to be there. I think Furia is one of the best teams in the world, and it's so sad, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's also like it's the first time we're getting like a new format at LAN. Like, right? 10 games for groups, and then like it's kind of it's like almost like a single elimination but dual elimination. Like 2 teams go home on day 1.
Yeah, they're also doing no draft system, and they're doing the I don't even know who's voting, but it's like the crowd votes the map or something.
Yeah, for the group stages,
Which is
there's
interesting.
two
That's going to be
maps.
interesting KC, Olympus. What are we gonna see?
It's got to be Broken. I think people are going to vote Broken Moon.
Well,
I think it'll be Broken
Moon.
Moon.
Yeah, just to
Hopefully
see the
it's
quarantine
Broken Moon.
zone.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Dude, there's so many
Hold on a minute.
spots that need to get fixed before Broken Moon is in comp. Like the elevated spots. As someone who's been playing on that map for a good, like, there's just way too many broken spots.
I
Yeah.
think that's
That
just where
doesn't
people are
need to
going to
get
vote
GA'd.
because it's newer. Like it's newer. It's like flashier. It's got that zone in the middle. I feel like the fans are going to vote for that.
And especially with all the changes, I think it'll be super exciting to see, and I think it'll play well. But they got to fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at EWC Falcons is guaranteed second place, and then likely just a win match point. But if they don't win match point, they're just guaranteed second. Especially because there's no draft system, so they just get every POI they want. Like they're getting Quarantine Zone on Broken Moon, they're getting Trials on World's Edge, they're getting Mill on Stormpoint, and it's all uncontested as well. So, and not only that, but the competition at that tournament is the weakest that it's been in like 2 years compared to other lands.
I haven't kept up too much with the scrims. Are they not splitting Quarantine Zone with how big that POI is? Are they is one team getting that all to themselves?
I'm pretty sure they just get it all themselves.
That's
I haven't
kinda
been watching a lot, but from the maps, the drop spot maps I've seen, they just get it to themselves. Because who's going to con them?
I was just going to say like
It's
No,
just
but
such
I
a
mean-
big POI, right?
I know,
is,
but no.
like-
Yeah, I mean, like Stacks Mod is 2 POIs. So why don't you land there? Because the team that's landing there.
Yeah,
You're not
and
challenged
any team that's
Falcons.
good enough to con them is not going to con them because they're just going to go to another strong spot. So unless like a mid-level team wants to take a chance, then sure. But I just don't think they're not going to do that. It's just, I don't know.
Make some waves. Make some waves.
yeah, somebody do it.
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
do it.
Go for the clout.
But also, like, it's just such a big prize pool that people genuinely don't want to throw their tournament away. It's like,
Yeah.
I think it's 2 million for Apex, and then you also have an additional prize pool for the org placements.
Yeah.
Which Falcons, I believe, already wins that too because they won
They're
Warzone, they won like something else.
So
and-
far ahead right now.
Yeah, I think
like
they're
double
more than
the second
double.
place team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. But I'm excited for it. And I wanted to go back to something that you said earlier because I'm just curious. You said that with Furia, you get like almost everything is kind of under your control with how the squad plays, where you drop all that kind of stuff. How often does that happen? Or like at least in your experience, how often has it been like we're giving you all the keys, you figure this out? How many times is it like maybe
On
you
other
don't
teams?
on other teams?
Well, I think when Raven first joined TSM, he got that control because they were like desperate, like desperately needed help. But I think towards the end, I feel like they probably didn't really care about his opinion as much anymore. I could be wrong. But I don't, most of the time, it's not really like that. I think even when I was on C9, I didn't really have like that control. Like I kind of did, but it was more so just an even split decision between the team, which it is on Furia too, but they kind of just respect anything I say and it just happens. But on C9, it was more of like a discussion of how we wanted to do things. On DZ, I had no control for those decisions. It was Zero. Like Zero would just do whatever he wanted to do. Like sometimes we would scrim and Zero would just pick a different character without saying anything. And I'm just like, okay, we're doing that today, I guess. Like, but yeah, no, it's just most of the times I don't think anyone respects or trusts the coach enough to be able to do that. I think the coaches in Apex right now are mostly like analytical and they handle like arguments, which I do too. But it does feel good that my team trusts me enough to make important decisions that I strongly believe are important. So, but I also don't do stuff blindly. Like I do talk things, like my reasonings with my teams. Like I want to do this because of this. I'm not just be like, we're doing this today. You know what I mean? It's a team environment. So yeah.
So arguably the most important question that I'm gonna ask right now, when you're at LAN, top bunk, bottom bunk, which one do you prefer?
Well, we didn't have top bunk, bottom bunk, but if we had to have top bunk, let's see. When you fart, hot air rises. So I think I'm going bottom
You're
bunk.
going bottom. Okay,
No,
there we go.
we're talking about, like,
on stage again,
on
right?
stage.
Yeah.
I thought you were
know-
talking about the hotel room or something.
No.
Oh my god,
Like
the
a
second
week in a
time.
row.
Second week in a row.
We just blame Wyatt.
You gotta
Yeah,
start
that's
with
my
saying
fault.
on
That's my
stage, Wyatt.
I would
We
say
blame
on
Wyatt.
stage you got to go bottom because the top, like the the top is like way more noisy when it comes to like shaking and stuff like that. The bottom bunk is better, and the way that the
Okay.
stage works is it's like it's it's not like a bunk bed where it's top bottom. It's kind of like the top here and then the bottom is in front.
Mhm.
So you don't just hear the stuff stomping above you.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, bottom is the best for sure.
Bottom's the best. Okay, at
We're
least we got it out
hearing
of the
that a
way.
lot. So you got to get the scores. We also now need to start keeping a counter for how many people think we're talking about bunk beds.
Yeah, that's number 2. You and
That's 2 for
Designful.
2.
You and Designful both thought.
What did he
both-
say? Top or bottom?
I don't even remember what his
he
answer
said bottom
was.
for bunk beds. For bunk
Yeah,
beds, he
he-
said
Was it-
bottom. He said your rest would get disturbed if like the person on the bottom shaking too
Yeah,
much.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Also, if you gotta go to the bathroom, I'm not trying to like climb a ladder to go to the bathroom. Like, there's so
Yeah.
many perks.
That's also what he said. He said it depends where the ladder is, and then Enoch realized what he was talking about.
Enoch realized real fast. It's like, okay, he's thinking bunk beds right now.
yeah. They should make the pro players that land climb a ladder to get up to the top floor.
That'd be so funny. That'd be great. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're getting near the end of this thing. E, I think it's time that you hit him with the question.
Can do. All right. So you've already been on the pod, and so you've already answered the question I ask everybody who comes on the pod. But I have a second question that I ask everybody who comes on the pod for their second time, and that would be from now. Well, from the last time you were on the pod. Think about when that was, and now think about from that time to now. What's the most important thing you've learned?
Let's see. Let me think about this one for a second.
Yeah, you take your time. It's all good.
So
I
the
think-
last time you were on was May 11th, 2023.
Was I in C9 or was I in DZ?
You were on DZ, and I think it was pretty fresh from what it sounded like. It sounded
Yeah.
like you had just gotten there.
I think what I would say is, so me exiting DZ was very unfortunate, and sometimes life just hits you sideways and you don't expect it, but everything's going to work out. I mean, it is what it is. I think the situation of me, the whole DZ situation of like them winning LAN and me supposed to be there with them, it really sucked because I lost out on a lot of money, winning LAN, carrying the trophy, all that stuff. And it felt like a really like low period of my life. And I just thought to myself, I was like, dude, like it happens. Like who cares? Like I could sit here and cry and act like a baby and hold grudges or do whatever, or I can just get up and just move forward in my life. Like, why would I want to care about something that happened? I'm just going to use it as a way to make myself better in the future or do whatever to like not feel bad about myself. I'll just do better. And I bounce back. I'm on Furia. I love the Furia. Furia is my favorite org I've been on with the management. Shout out to Henry. And I love my team I'm on now, and we're doing great. We are holding second place all of split 2. So like, look where I'm at now. I can't be sad about anything.
That's awesome, man.
Love that.
I love that. I love that. Also, I'd like to shout out Furia. They have the sickest hats in the game. Bought one hat at LAN, most comfortable hat I've ever worn. Then I bought a second hat, also second most comfortable hat I've ever worn, other than
Man's
my
not
other
even
Furia
wearing
hat.
it.
And I'm
Not even wearing it.
Dude, that's so
What is
stupid.
that?
What is wrong with me, dude? That's
Bro's
the
over
dumbest
here,
thing
like-
I've ever done. I've got
Yeah.
2 Furia hats sitting in the back, and I just didn't put one on. That's
Making
crazy.
yourself look like a fool right now.
That's crazy. I did have one last question, and it is, where would you rank the Furia logo among all the other teams out there? You putting
Dude,
it up
Furia
there?
logo is so good.
That's
It's
what I'm
like
saying.
The F with the dude.
I just realized that's an F,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, it's an F.
Oh
Furia.
my
Yeah.
god.
I mean, I was on C9. I loved the C9 logo too. I think C9 logo is like OG, like one of the top orgs for logos.
Thank you. I hear
Yeah.
way too many people dog on that logo.
I
don't
would
know why.
never.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it.
Sure.
Top
Why?
notch
Okay.
logo. Top notch logo from
Yeah.
Furia. Our
It's the
line.
Cloud
I love
9,
it.
bro, in the shape of a cloud. Like, I don't know. I'm a big fan of logos that like incorporate things, like the F in Furia, and then so like I think it's an S tier logo. I don't know if you guys remember NRG when they switched to like that globe logo.
I remember it.
Dude, that was so bad. I was like, what are they doing
Yeah.
right now? I don't know if it was temporary or what happened, but they don't have it anymore. I'm happy
It
they
didn't
don't.
last long. It didn't last
Dude,
long.
when I saw that, I was like, who made that decision? Like, what is going on? But yeah, Furia logo, it's S tier for sure. I love
Also,
it.
your guys' jerseys are real clean. Like, I know it's like
They're
simple,
nice,
but
yeah.
it's like a nice, and the logo's big. I feel like a lot of times on some of these gaming jerseys, the logo, it's usually like sometimes smaller in the corner. And
Yeah.
I like how yours is like a little bit bigger and also has like the designs on the front. It was
Yeah, it's
Furia.
sick.
Furia.
I do think DSG topped the fucking jersey game.
Dude, they
at LAN, dude.
destroyed it.
Dude, their
Holy
jerseys
shit.
are nice. Well, like to be honest, like I love our Furia sponsors and everything, but I do think it's a little unfair that they had like no sponsors on their jerseys. So I feel like that kind of helped, like with like the look or something like that. But
yeah, the
but yeah.
sponsorships, man. That sometimes they get in the way, but you need them.
Yeah.
You need them. So
yeah, shout out to the
all
sponsors.
right. Well, JMO, thank you so much for hopping on. Second time. This was a very productive conversation. So productive, in fact, that we didn't even start talking about ALGS until 40 minutes into the interview. I think what we need to do is every time you have an idea, we just give you the outlet. We bring you on. You get the idea out there, all facets of the idea, and then we just put it out there for the world to hear.
Yeah,
Completely.
Let's let streamers ban people in Apex.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it.
Just
All
the
right,
the short statement. There's no details involved.
No details involved.
Nothing else. We leave it there. All right, man. Thank you so much for hopping on. We'll see you soon.
I appreciate you having me. Have a good one, guys.
All right, ladies and gents, that was JMO. Shout out JMO for hopping back on the pod. Always a pleasure. And I'm dead serious. I think every time he has an idea, I'm just going to shoot him a DM. Be like, hey, I set aside 15 minutes. Explain this idea. We'll put it out tonight. Tonight, it's out. Then people can see his ideas. He's got so
You
many.
should have asked him about your Ash.
I should have asked him.
Ash
I thought about asking him if he thought that I could dunk on Keon. Because last time Keon came on, I asked if I could dunk on him and maybe get his opinion on that. But
Keon would squash you.
I walked
No.
by Keon
Keon
at
would
LAN in
squash
LA.
you.
did you see
You
that
can't-
picture, Enoch?
You can't
Did you see
dunk
the-
on him.
Did you see the
No.
picture I took at land with me and Keon? I'll have to send that to you.
It
is, it's a stark
I already
difference.
see it in my head.
It's a stark difference.
I feel like you look like this.
Yeah,
Next to
You
Yeah,
might be able
it's-
to dunk on
it's-
Madness.
Madness is actually shorter than me. It surprised me.
And on
I-
a bad leg right now, this is your opportunity.
yeah, this might be my chance. This might be my chance.
We'll get you guys out together, grab a Fisher's Price net, and toss you out there.
Okay, you didn't have to. The Fisher's Price net. You're gonna hit me with a fish. You know what? All right, that's
Well,
fine.
you're not dunking on a standard basketball net.
Why not? I think
Yeah?
just give me some time.
Don't you,
Just give me some time,
you
and I
need
think
a
I could
lot
do it.
of. I think you can do it. I definitely believe that if you believe you could do it, I think
respect
if you
that.
took a couple of years, I think you could definitely do it.
Yeah. One time I
but you
grabbed
gotta
rim.
work for that shit.
One time I grabbed rim on a elementary
9-footer?
school court,
Okay.
and that's like what is it?
8?
8 feet.
I'd assume
Yeah.
8. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd assume
I
8
grabbed
feet.
rim. I held on to it
You
like I jumped
grabbed
and I held on, but the ball didn't go in the hoop because I had to.
So you need to add 2 feet.
Yeah,
Add
that's
2 feet
fine.
here.
I'll figure
We're
it
going
out.
with grabbed rim is the statement we went with.
I grabbed
Out
rim.
of all
bro.
the ways that we're going to describe it.
I grabbed rim, and I'm not going to feel bad about it either. I sent you the picture of me and Keon to you, Enoch, if you want to see
Let's
it.
go.
But it's there. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's not even that much different though. Like,
Dude, you're firmly
Send this to Connor. Make
Under
sure
his
Connor
shoulder.
puts this in the pod.
you're firmly under his shoulder.
well, the thing is though, look at my left
your
arm. Looks
top-
kind of big.
Your top of the head is underneath the beginning of his neck.
I will say that
He is
Keon.
a whole head like he looks like he could like toss you.
I will say Keon said he'd spot me 1 point. Like he thinks I could get at least one basket on him. He didn't say dunk.
No, I believe that. Or didn't no actually
No,
didn't
if
Keon
I
play
think
D1 in
the
college or
only-
something?
Yeah.
The only way that you're putting a point up on Keon is if he lets you.
What if I just like
No.
shoot up a random like half court shot?
I mean, yeah, you'd have to shoot it before he's able to like apply pressure. So like when he's bouncing you the ball,
Yeah. You gotta
After
hit some
he scored
crazy
on
step
you?
back.
if
What
you don't just absolutely just perfect it, yeah.
What if I just hezzy step spin?
That's what I'm saying. That's what you gotta
Teardrop.
hit.
Yeah,
That's what you
you're
gotta hit.
talking.
That's what you gotta hit.
I mean, I don't know how good you are at basketball, but I just feel like that play sounds like it's outside your wheelhouse.
Fair.
And that's what, I'm just being honest. I have zero clue about your basketball skills.
Yeah. No,
But I feel like
well,
since we've never talked about them before, they can't be good.
I just keep them
And you're
secret.
5'6", and from California.
I just keep
Oh,
them
you just
secret.
hit him. You even hit you with the 5'7", Wyatt.
I keep listen. 5'7" when I put shoes on. Listen, I keep him secret. It's like Batman. Like he doesn't want people to know he's Batman, right? Like he keeps that a secret. So me on the court, it's a different story.
The Batman of basketball.
Some are saying.
Here we go.
I've heard the reports.
The streets.
All right, you guys ready for some heart to heart? Let's get it. Does anybody want to go first? You want to go first, Jumbo? You always go first.
You've been killing
You always go first.
This is like I wait for you guys to offer.
Do you want me to go first?
I can go first. Do you guys need to think? Do you guys not
want to go?
No, I have mine ready to go, but I just feel
I feel
better
at all. I do not know what I'm saying until the moment
I feel like you go better when you go first, or it sounds better when you go first.
I think we've kind of established an order. We got Jumbo starts it off strong.
That's fine.
We got Wyatt in the middle.
Yep.
And then I just round it off to end.
Okay.
And it works.
My heart to heart might be a little bit different. I don't know if there's like a lesson to it. But like,
nothing wrong with that. It can be however you want it to be. It's your heart to heart.
Awesome. This is what I want to say. It's like for the listeners, whoever hears this, when it comes to Apex content, a lot of it's been said lately again about like Apex is dying, Apex is dead, the game's over. The last time that this conversation happened, I came out and proceeded to drop 3 of my most viewed videos back to back during like the whole Apex is dead conversation. And that's not me to gloat. That's me to say 2 things here. 1, I actually think Apex has extremely huge untapped potential in the content scene. And I think that there's just a few creators out there that are really executing on things because they're the only ones like either putting in the time or thinking outside the box. And I see some creators knocking on ideas that other creators are trying to put forward. And I don't like that because I'm like, you know what? People should be like trying to innovate, trying to do different things. We're 5 years into the game and the days of like just uploading your 4K 20 bomb were gone like 2 years ago. Right. So I'm saying that because another thing is a lot of people are quitting Apex and that's okay. If like someone's been grinding this game for that long and they're not passionate about it anymore, they should move on. I think it's really healthy to have breaks. I haven't played Apex very much consistently in the last 2 years. And guess what? I started playing recently. And when everyone's calling Apex dead, I'm having the best time of my life playing lately. But on that flip side, we also play a bunch of different games. We talk about Call of Duty. We talk about Overwatch. We talk about all these different games that we played up. And the reason why, like, I'd say lately that, like, I'm enjoying gaming again is because I have that variety. So I think people should do that in general. But with these people quitting, if you are someone who's like an aspiring creator, there's always massive opportunity when you see a lot of people moving away because that means there's gaps and there's an audience to be fed there. And I still think there's huge untapped potential. So yes, my heart to heart this week is that like I don't think Apex is dying. I think that it just ebbs and flows. That's the way games go. Yeah, there's some things that aren't in a good state that I agree like need to be worked on. Cheaters, battle pass situation, don't really like that. Don't think that's pretty cool. And it's probably the only time I've been like slightly concerned about a few things. But for the most part, I think there's huge opportunity in Apex. And I think that people could go absolutely crazy with content if you really start to like put in the time and think outside the box. So yeah, that's my heart to heart. I want to like kind of say that after some stuff I saw on Twitter today.
I will go out of order and I will skip Wyatt and I will hop off that and I will say like, yeah, like literally just grab life by the balls and you just, if you want to do something, go get it done. Like if you are out there and you are thinking like, oh, I want to do Apex content. Oh, Apex isn't doing that well. Like maybe I should like focus my attention somewhere else. I'm like, this is like the best time to be like going balls to the wall on Apex content and putting out everything you can. Because literally everybody else is slacking. Everybody else is getting complacent. Everybody else isn't like doing the things that they typically would be doing if they were enjoying it better. And so there's just like more than enough opportunity for you to just like go get yours.
Exactly.
Like at one point, Apex had 17,000 viewers on Twitch right? And I had basically around 1.7 in my chat. And so, like, you could look at 17K compared to where it's been, and you could say, like, oh, there's only 17K people watching Apex. Like that, we used to see that at like 90 and 100. But it's like 17K is still a lot of people, and you can go get your piece of that pie. Like, I'm completely fine playing a game that has 17,000 people watching it if I got a tenth of them hanging out with me, you know?
Also, I look at like when I see like there's like 17K, that's usually because of the fact that like all these big streamers who play the game, like that have left, that even went to different platforms, things like that, like they're just not in the category, and so like that's why you're not seeing the number. I don't think it's that there's that much less viewers. I think that people just are looking for who's their next person to watch, right? But if no one's picking up the slack, then then no one's ever.
I
gonna
mean,
watch,
that's
right?
also like that's a Sunday afternoon where like there's no tournaments going on other than like you got CC that was taking place a little bit later in the day, but like there wasn't really any watch parties going on for that, and so like it's just like it's a day where majority of people are all focusing and getting ready for EWC, and there's like a lot of big things that are coming up, and so opportunity is out there. You just gotta go put in the work and capitalize it. And if you work harder than everybody else, it might take you longer than you thought, but like there's literally nothing that you like can't accomplish if you just sit down, dedicate yourself to it, and then just work for it.
And actually think outside the box. Like that's another thing. Like don't just do what everyone else is doing. Like try to like be unique.
You have to do it. Like I would say that each and every person has something that they're uniquely can provide to the world that nobody else can, and people just need to figure out what that is for them and then just go do that. And then if you do that and you just do it with everything you got, you'll be able to do that with everything you got for a while.
Well said.
And so
yeah,
that's I'll put that as my heart to heart, and just like I'm just unbelievably just grateful because like I've been absolutely just been like putting like I'm talking like we're getting towards like into like month 3 of like 16-hour days of just grind, and the like I'm just hitting like numbers that like I've never hit before, and like I like literally like 3 months ago I was looking at like in terms of like my career, I was at like one of the lower parts that I had been at, and I was like, all right, I gotta lock in. Like I got a kid coming, gotta figure it out. Like let's lock in. And now it's like I went from like being at one of my lowest to now being at like the highest I've ever been ever, and I have no intention of like stopping or slowing down or doing anything. And it's just I'm just unbelievably thankful to be where I'm at. I'm just genuinely just super excited to just wake up each and every day and just keep on putting in the work. And like part of my job is having a positive impact on as like many people as I can, and I get to do that with more and more people, and it's a fun time.
That's like true testament. People are like Apex is dying, but Enoch is up. I'll gloat myself.
Apex is dying. I'm eating.
Yeah,
if Apex is dying, I am eating.
There you go. Enoch's up. My channel, it's up. I haven't posted for 2 months, and the average views on my channel, like, yeah, if I was posting, I probably would have had the most successful months in my channel's history. But like the fact that my channel is consistently pulling views like that it is right now while I haven't posting has made me feel very confident that I can sustain this for longer than I thought. This podcast, like the last like month or so, it's like the best month this podcast has had in the last 2 months. Top 2 months, things are up. Apex is not that dying.
Dog, we had no guests last week, and we were pulling more views than some of our guest weeks. Like just us 3. Like that's never happened before. I was worried. Like I when I first looked on YouTube, I was like, I must be looking at something wrong. Like there's no way. But it's just the boys pulling stuff in. I think there's something to be said about when a game that has a lot of potential but isn't doing as well. I think there's a lot of reason for people to want to go out and search the content for the game. I don't know if this is true. This is just me rambling, but like, for instance, when a team is doing real bad, a team that's supposed to do good is doing real bad, you notice that a lot of YouTube videos are getting a ton of views. You're seeing a lot more clips of like, sometimes it seems like when things are not going well, that's when you're getting your most views. And when things are going like smoothly, you're not getting as many. So I don't know. I don't think it's dying either. I do hate the phrase that gamers say all the time. I'm quitting. I'm quitting this game. Dude, what? First of all, you're not even a pro. Like the people who are saying I'm quitting this game are literally casual people being like, yeah, this game fell off, I'm quitting it. Makes no sense. Like, you're not getting paid to play. What do you mean you're quitting? You mean you're gonna play something else? Doesn't mean you're quitting. First of all, gaming was supposed to be you playing a lot of other different games. It's not like when you sign up and you get a PC or a console, you're like, oh, I'm signing contract with this game, I'm never going away. Like, dude, gaming is meant for you to go play a lot of different types of games. This week alone, I've played Elden Ring, Overwatch, Plate Up, and Apex Legends. I'm playing 4 different games at once. I make content on Apex Legends. I may not have played it the most this week because certain things about it aren't as good, but I'm not going to be like, I'm quitting forever. Apex is dead. Like, I hate when people do that. It's the most annoying thing. Just take a break for a second, right? Like, maybe things aren't going as swimmingly as you think it should be. Take a break for a second. Go play. I left out college football. I literally have played so much college football this week that it blows my mind how much I've played. And I bought $80 worth of Iowa merch because I made an Iowa quarterback. Like, dude, that's how deep I am into college football. But I'm not quitting Apex Legends. Like, stop saying I'm quitting things that you're not associate. Like, I don't know. That gets me heated. I hate when people say that. Like, one of my coworkers will be like, yeah, dude, I think I'm just going to quit Apex. What do you mean? You're going to stop playing it for a few weeks until an update comes out and you're going to play it again? Is that what you mean by quitting? Because like quitting, I think usually means you're never going to do it ever again, right? Like, that's the goal of like quitting something. Just say you're taking a break. Just be like, yeah, I'm just not really enjoying it right now. New update comes out, I'll probably play again. Okay, cool, awesome, great. That's like how normal people do things. So yeah, I don't know. That shit makes me mad. So I definitely feel you on that, Jumba. And like you've already said, we've been getting a lot more views on this stuff, which is weird because it's in a weird place. Enoch's getting his highest numbers ever. So I just find it interesting that people are saying what they're saying right now. I think a lot of it comes from money things. Like, when the battle pass got the change, people started like giving the negative reviews on Steam and stuff like that. But if you look at the game as a whole, you don't have to spend the money. And I'm not like saying that it was right that they changed the battle pass, but if you take out everything that has to do with like money in the game and you just play it, you can go into this game right now. You have a ranked playlist, you have solos, you have quads, you have trios, and then you have a mixtape playlist that cycles through 3 different game modes. And you're trying to tell me that this game's bad right now?
And one of those game
Fucking
modes
take
in
a
Mixtape
break,
is
grow
new.
up. Yeah,
just
we have
came
a
out,
brand new one.
Yeah.
We have a brand new one with a map that sucked so much ass that everybody hated, that they fixed and made way better, in my opinion. You could still hate it. That's up to you, but I think it's much better. And a brand new legend. What are you talking about? Relax. Chill out for a second. Chill out. The game's fine. The battle pass changes, they are shitty. I don't like them. I think it sucks. They didn't even showcase what they were going to add into the battle pass to make it better. I think that would have helped out a ton. They didn't do that, which leads me to believe it's probably not going to be as good. Doesn't really matter. If you take out all of the money aspects of this game, because it is free, the game has so many different ways to play it right now, which is what we begged for years. We begged for it for years. You want to talk about times to start, like when we were saying like now would be the right time to be doing Apex content? I started the Grab My Banner podcast in season 6 when they changed the shields and made it to where it felt like Call of Duty. I started the show then. Nobody liked the game then. Rampart came out. They're like, I hate this legend. I hate the shield changes. This game sucks. I'm never playing it ever again.
That
and
was
now,
a tough 36 hours on Rampart.
That was, yeah.
For me, by the way.
Yeah.
You talk about that time. That just brought up moments
That's so funny.
seared into my brain.
Exactly. I started the show then. If I would have just quit because of what everybody was saying, I would have never come across Finn. I would have never come across Enoch, and then eventually never come across Jumba, and we wouldn't have this show here today. So listen, don't listen to what everybody else is saying. The game is in a good place as far as playing it. The money thing, yes, that is annoying. It's crazy. It's wild. But we've known that. for years now. So let's not pretend like that's something new. The game itself is still really good. Like I just said, every game mode is available for you to play. Quads is incredible if you can get 4 guys to play with. Solos definitely ass, but at least it's there. You got your regular trios. You got
That's
your
your
ranked.
personal opinion, though.
No,
I know a lot of people who
you
like
can't,
solos, though.
You can't queue into a game. I
Solos?
was
Okay.
queuing for 10 minutes yesterday. There was 2 people in the queue.
Okay.
Two
Never
people.
Mind that. Never mind.
Early solos, I did play a lot. But there is also these weird bots now in it too. Like they have bots in there.
I haven't
Yeah,
tried it. I'll be honest.
very
I haven't
weird.
tried it.
No, you're all good. Okay, my actual heart to heart this week is the baby will not quit eating dirt. Like she's just I said it last week. It's gotten worse.
Might be
Like,
on something.
she's just
Might
crushing
be onto
dirt.
something.
She's crushing dirt relentlessly. And like there was a time where she was crushing dirt where me and her mother are both in the room. Like, and we're sitting there like, and she still somehow snuck away to grab some dirt. Like
From
that is
plant behind you.
from the plant, literally this
Can
one
you just
right
not
here.
move that plant? Like
We could.
it
but
sounds
then-
like the source of the problem might be the plant, not the baby.
Yeah, maybe. But she had her crawling has gotten stronger now that this plan is there. Maybe we leave it just so and then she has to stand herself up to get to it. Maybe that's making her stronger. I don't know.
The baby's
I don't
gonna
know.
walk from the dirt. The dirt.
Maybe plants grow from dirt. Maybe a baby could too. Who knows? No, she's just crushing dirt.
Like he said, maybe she's on to something.
She's also this plant right there. That's another one she gets into a lot, and we're trying to watch that one. So that's where we're at. She's crushing dirt. She is crushing dirt. But all right. Anything else, boys? Before we round this bad boy out. All good. All good.
Yeah,
Well, ladies and
good with me.
gents, Esports World Cup is right here. It's right around the corner. We're going to have all of the content ready and available for you guys. We're going to be covering it as closely as possible. We'll probably have our regular pod and then maybe some other ones next week. I'll let you guys know, and we'll keep you guys updated on social media. Shout out to JMO for hopping on the pod. Ladies and gents, we'll catch you guys next week for another episode of the Apex, the podcast.
Oh, that's new.